Looking around today, it feels like everyone you know is either taking a break from social media or talking about deleting their apps entirely. The platforms that once promised to connect us and give everyone a voice have transformed into something far more troubling. What we're witnessing isn't just frustration with a few bad features, it's a fundamental shift in how people view these platforms that were once central to their daily lives. To understand what's happening, let's look at how drastically social media has changed from its original vision. When Web 2.0 emerged around 2005, platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube introduced something revolutionary: the follow button. For the first time, you had control over what appeared in your feed. You decided who you wanted to hear from, creating a personalized corner of the internet built around genuine connections and interests. This system worked beautifully for users, but it had one major flaw from a business perspective. It wasn't designed to maximize profit. Once these companies went public, everything changed. The solution was simple: advertising. More users meant more ad revenue, which meant finding ways to keep people scrolling longer and collecting more data about their fears, dreams, and desires. The entire business model shifted. Social media companies weren't really serving their users anymore. They were serving advertisers. And what advertisers wanted was attention. Lots of it. This created a massive machine designed to extract as much human attention as possible and convert it into revenue. The race for attention led to increasingly manipulative design features. Take Infinite Scroll, created by interface designer Asa Raskin in 2006. Before this, websites had natural stopping points, pages that let you decide whether to continue or take a break. Infinite Scroll removed those breaks entirely, creating an endless stream of content that could quietly steal hundreds of hours from your life each year. Even Raskin himself now regrets creating it, admitting he was blind to how it'd be used against people rather than for them. When features like this proved successful at capturing attention, they spread everywhere. Social media companies learned to copy anything that worked, leading to a homogenization of addictive design across platforms. Then, TikTok arrived and changed everything again. While people often focus on TikTok's vertical video format, that wasn't its real innovation. The game changer was abandoning the follow-based feed entirely. Instead of showing you content from people you chose to follow, TikTok built feeds based purely on what their algorithm predicted you would watch, optimizing entirely for time spent on the platform. This approach was incredibly effective at keeping people engaged. Traffic began flowing away from Instagram and Facebook towards TikTok. Faced with this competition, other platforms felt pressured to adopt similar algorithmic feeds, ditching the follow button that had once given users control. On the surface, this seemed like it could democratize content. Anyone could potentially reach millions of people regardless of their follower count. But there was a dark side. These algorithms discovered something troubling about human psychology. We tend to spend more time looking at negative, outrageous content than positive, calming content. The algorithms didn't care whether this made us happy or miserable. They only cared about keeping us scrolling. This shift has had profound consequences. Meta recently admitted that only 7% of time spent on Instagram is now devoted to viewing content from friends. What was supposed to be social media has become largely antisocial, more about consuming highly produced content and lifestyle aspiration than connecting with the people in our lives. The result is that even as usage numbers remain high, public sentiment is turning sharply against these platforms. Recent polls show that 2/3 of young people aged 16 to 24 believe social media does more harm than good, and half think they spent too much time on it when they were younger. People describe their relationship with social media the way you'd talk about a toxic relationship that was making you miserable. Users report feeling detached from reality, more irritable with family members, constantly comparing themselves to others, and experiencing persistent background anxiety. There's a fundamental mismatch between how our brains work and the experience of being exposed to intermittent rewards and stimulation throughout all our waking hours. It's like carrying a slot machine with you and pulling the handle from morning until night. This has created a strange paradox. Very few people will tell you they actually enjoy scrolling through Instagram or TikTok. Most describe it as a compulsive habit rather than something that brings them joy. Yet billions of people continue using these platforms daily, trapped by design features specifically engineered to be difficult to resist. The growing awareness of this problem is driving a quiet rebellion. Digital detoxes and social media cleanses have become mainstream. Minimalist phones and apps designed to be less addictive are gaining popularity. Concerts and venues are asking people to put away their devices to encourage presence. Organizations promoting offline activities and in-person connection are appearing everywhere. More people are taking the ultimate step and deleting these apps entirely. What started as a fringe movement in the late 2019s has become increasingly common and socially acceptable. People are realizing they're actually not missing much, mostly just viral trends and artificial dopamine hits rather than meaningful connections with friends. This growing pushback represents a serious threat to social media companies. They're caught in an impossible position, trapped between satisfying users and generating the endless growth their business model demands. Within a system built for profit maximization, they'll always choose revenue over user well-being. The question is whether this rebellion will grow large enough to force real change. We're still in the early stages of figuring out how to integrate these powerful technologies into human life in healthy ways. The internet as we know it has only existed for about 2 decades, a tiny blip in human history. Perhaps what we're witnessing now is the beginning of a necessary correction as people reclaim control over their attention and demand technology that serves human flourishing rather than exploiting human vulnerabilities. The future of social media may depend on whether enough people decide that their mental health, relationships, and authentic connections matter more than the artificial engagement these platforms provide. For now, the quiet exodus continues, one deleted app at a time.